Hi, everyone. This is Rasha Lajuz, and you are listening to one of my follow up interviews of the HRSE Summit and Expo. My guest today was one of the speakers at the HRSE Summit and Expo conference and one of the shining stars there.
Thank you, Rasha, for having me. Happy to be here.
It's my pleasure. So, Dina, I attended your session on the first day about upskilling and reskilling organizations to be future fit. And may I say it was amazingly impactful. Can you tell us more about it?
Thank you, Rasha. Upskilling and reskilling is a hot topic nowadays because of all of the changes that we're seeing. We're going through a lot of changes within this world in general, as a lot of us know that we are living in a VUCA world. So there is a lot of volatility, there is a lot of ambiguity, unpredictability, uncertainty that we're living with. And we could see that with the changes that happened during COVID. We had to adapt to a new style of business and work. Also, systems are getting more complex. Work has becoming a more complex structure. The change that we're living in is very rapid. So we could see stuff that we couldn't imagine that's going to happen in our lifetime. The wealth of knowledge is growing, and we could see it doubling every 13 months. So knowledge is abundant, it's everywhere. Plus, our skills need to continuously be updated with these changes. There is a huge skill gap, and at least 40% of people nowadays need at least 6 months of training on a new skill and to be reskilled. So it's very important that we adapt, reskilling, and proofing our organization to the future against all of this disruption.
Absolutely. So, and you've mentioned coaching and mentoring as one of the implementation tools for that well thought process and action plan. So, how do you see the role of coaching and mentoring in organizations?
Mentoring is an excellent tool to transfer knowledge because mentoring, there is a lot of guidance, sharing experiences, sharing expertise. With mentoring, people can transfer that knowledge to a second generation. As you know, that now the workplace includes 2 to 3 generations in one organization. So that transfer between people and exchange of ideas, exchange of expertise is very important. So you can get it through mentoring, and coaching can help people in coping with all of this change, help create that awareness that a person needs to develop themselves. The first step of change is awareness. It's very difficult to put someone in a classroom and ask them to reskill themselves and learn new skills without them having that awareness. So the coaching will help in creating awareness, will highlight to the person what do they need, where is the gaps, and help them cope with all of this change, with understanding more what they need to change.
Yes, exactly. As coaching and mentoring are one of the powerful tools that can be used in organizations to empower them into the future.
Exactly.
So, in terms of leadership, how are you seeing leaders coping with such changes?
That's a good question because we could see leaders who are coping very well. And however, because of the accelerated change and the speed that things are changing and the unpredictability and uncertainty that we're living with, it's sometimes very difficult for leaders to cope with. So, leaders who are very aware, humble, open to change, understand how to handle situations of uncertainty, ambiguity, handle it without them affecting it or fogging their vision, I think they can go through this smoothly. However, we could find a lot of people who are challenged, and we could see that happening in a lot of places. We could see a lot of shifting in work. We were seeing a lot of resignations because some of it is due to an inability to cope with this accelerated change and actions that are happening around.
So, on this, say, if there's one thing that they can bring to the table, what would it be?
I think bringing an open mindset and being able to focus on self-learning. A lot of the changes that are happening could be self-learned. So just trying to encourage themselves to be involved with their teams, be very humble and authentic, that I need to work on this with our team. I think having that mindset that I need to grow, I need to continuously grow, even if I am an executive, a C-suite, I'm a CEO, I still need to, there is much more to learn. I think that would be very helpful for people.
Interesting. It's interesting that you've mentioned authentic because that was my next question. So, if you want to define authentic leadership, what would that be?
Ah, that's a tough question, Rasha, but I think is just being yourself, being your true you, showing your authentic self, your vulnerabilities, your strength, not shy away from it. I think that really impacts people, and it shows a lot on people. So people know who is an authentic, they can sense it. I think having that authenticity um, and being your true you is what people seek in your style, in the way you talk, the way you exhibit your values. All of that impacts how people perceive you. So I think it's very important for people to come as their authentic self because it will impact how people perceive them. And it's such a reliever uh, if you self-actualize yourself, you're aware of your strength, your weaknesses, your limitations, your emotions, and you reflect it. People will start to also show their strength, show their weaknesses, their limitations, their challenges, and then you can work better as a team.
So, authenticity is like the key to the door of unlimited possibilities to strengthen the organization's power and being future fit as well.
Exactly.
Aha, great. So, thank you so much for the interview today and thank you for giving me such time. I know you're very busy and that your time constrained, so thank you so much for this and thank you all for listening to this follow up interview. This is Rasha Al Ajuz, and you've been listening to one of my follow up interviews to one of the conferences that I attend. And our guest today was Dina Al Ismail. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.